Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review of 90 Day Fiance, Season 7, Episode 3. What am I worth to you? If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, everybody needs a sweet old auntie, right? Having one, it just would be nice. Cause everybody needs a sweet old auntie, right? So welcome to Auntie's Advice. Welcome to the family and to all of my nieces and nephews who have been here with me for the long haul. Thank you all so much for your continued support. Y'all, this episode was like all over the place. And there's so many things that we have to talk about. First of all, thank you all so much for being patient and waiting for your auntie. I had to spend some time with family getting ready for Thanksgiving. So I said this was a no stop November, but hey, I had to stop. So for all of y'all that threw shade at your auntie, you have at it. You got it. Yes, I did not do nonstop November, but I'm back and that's all that matters right now. So anyway, let's get into the episode. If you hear squeaking in the background, of course you all know it is my grandpuppy and I am babysitting. So you're just gonna have to get past all that damn squeaking that she's doing today. So, I may actually forget some of the names of these mofos. It's so many of them, y'all, till it's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, God dang, I hate this every time we have a new season. Your auntie has to remember the names, but we're gonna try to do this thing, okay? One damn couple at a time. The first couple that I want to talk about is, I believe his name is Mike and Elaine. We were first introduced to them this episode. We have another couple that we're going to be meeting next on the next episode I believe 4 or 5. And this guy is one of them dang ginky, jump out the woods on your ass, pickup truck driving, farm farm raising animals mofo. He lives on a farm that he said he purchased from his dad, and he lives with his Uncle Bo. Uncle Bo lives in the barn, bitch. Okay. So he is living in the barn, and this is a quite different from anybody that I have ever seen before. Let me see something. Hold on. Okay. And so, he had a best friend. His best friend married a woman from the Ukraine, and they had a baby. They named him the Godfather, and her friend was the godmother. Her name is Natalie, and she lives in the Ukraine. And when he saw a picture of her, he was like, God dang it, gotta have her, gotta have her. And I don't blame him because she is absolutely beautiful. She seems like she got her stuff together. He says she has 2 degrees. She is just grabbing the world by her fist, and she's doing it all. She does yoga, she's kayaking, she's climbing up walls. I mean, you name it, she's done it, and she just seems like a wonderful person. He said they began to talk and they hit it off. He flew out to the Ukraine to meet her and to be with her, and he is absolutely smitten with her. He flew out there to be with her. So, I mean, like for me, I think that this is like, I'm trying to tone this camera down. And for me, I feel like, this is a legitimate relationship. I know that we've seen so many of them that we think, are phony and everything, but I didn't think that this relationship was phony. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get this lighting right. Sorry. It's just like all over the place. And so I did not feel like, I felt like this was a good relationship. It was a true relationship. It was a real relationship. Because he said he spent 2 weeks with her in the Ukraine. And to me, it appears that this couple is happily married, but you know what? We never know. We never know what's going on with these mofos, and so we'll sit back. He says that he has a credit card problem. And I guess that's because he doesn't really seem like he has anything going on the farm. We see him and Uncle Bo, you know, um, throwing some blue stuff into the lagoon or into the little pond on his property because he's thinking that Natalie's gonna be there, so he wants her to think that it's blue water there. But it just this farm just looks like he's not doing anything with it, and that may be because he has this credit card debt and he's trying to have this relationship with this woman in the Ukraine or whatever the case may be. But this mofo was like all over the place as far as I'm concerned, but he's in love with her and she's in love with him. She is going to have her meeting in, with the consulate, I guess, so that she can try to do the 90-day fiance thing. And so she's excited about that. When we see her talking to him, she's out at a nightclub and he's telling her, she shows him a very pretty view of where she is. And he says, well, you know what the thing about it, when you get here, everything closes at 10 o'clock. And she's like, what? You're kidding, right? He's like, no, I'm not kidding. Bitch, everything here closes at 10 o'clock. And so, he said that they are opposites attract, that she's a vegetarian and he is a meat lover. She's religious. He's not religious. And so, I guess opposites do attract. I don't know. But, I mean, we just on for the ride right now. And so we see him the next time he has a conversation with her. She's down and she's sad because she takes care of her mom. But she's been looking forward to coming to America to be with him. And he took her, prior to this, he took her to London or to Paris and he proposed to her. And so, she was excited and he was excited. So now, of course, they've been doing the K1 visa process. She, hits him up, he hits her up, and she tells him that, you know what? I have to wait another 6 months. Although I've packed my bag, they had already bought an airline ticket. She was like, I'm not going to be able to come. All my paperwork is in and nothing should be, happening with it. To the negative, I guess. But something went the hell wrong. Excuse me, y'all. So something went wrong. And she is trying to, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm a little distracted by something, but I'm coming. And so basically, this couple, we have a lot that we need to learn about this couple. Like I said, this was the first week that we met them. And so, we're just a little curious about them. We'll see. She doesn't know about his credit card problem. And I'm saying, he's like all the rest of the mofos who bring people over here and they don't have a pot to piss in nor a window to thaw it out of. The next couple that I want to talk about is Michael and Julieana. Okay, see, like I can't do him. He is a complete and total fraud. I don't care what you say. All of the stuff that he has staged is just completely fake, y'all. When I saw his mofo apartment, I said, ain't no way in the world you going to tell me that this is a rich, wealthy mofo. He is living off credit cards and everything. No! No, no, no. No. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I told you I'm a bit distracted. Okay, she's laying down. So this, oh my God, I can't get this lighting right. Like this is like, my first night back, and all of this stuff is happening. Come on, lighting. Forget about it. Forget it. Okay, so this mofo, y'all, as far as I'm concerned, he is a complete and total fraud. Like, he's a fraud. So when we first met him, he was talking about, that he was in the wine business and he's flown all over the world and he was on his friend's yacht and all this kind of stuff. And so, every time we hear him talk about Julieana, he's talking about his lawyer and, he's luring up and, all this kind of stuff. So we see them basically going through the process. We see him talking to his lawyer about them calling her a prostitute or asking her had she been a prostitute, within the last 10 years of being there. And the lawyer basically told him that's standard practice for a woman who is 20 years, the man's junior, okay? He's 40, she's 20. It's standard for them to ask these kind of questions. And so, it's not a big deal, but, I'm going to go ahead on and charge you. I'm going to hit you up with these billable hours, but there's nothing I can do for you. Basically, he's going to have to just wait. So then he says that he gets this, email or a text message, a video of some sort, and it's Julieana, saying, I'm coming to. I'm sorry, I don't have any glasses on. I can't read your super chat. Thank you so much for sitting there, but I have no glasses, and I don't even have them in this room with me. So thank you so much for the super chat. I saw the color come up, but that's all I can see, okay? But anyway, so, he is excited. She's coming and everything. He goes and he rents a Hummer. And this is the way that he wants to bring her to Greenwich, Connecticut. And he says he would have gotten a helicopter, but it's not within his budget. And I'm saying budget. The 1%ers, they don't worry about budget. They don't know anything about budget. Rich people don't budget, okay? They just spend and collect, spend and collect, spend and collect, okay? So evidently this is sign number one for your auntie to say, this mofo is just telling a whole entire lie. He is not who he appears to be. But okay, I digress. A helicopter probably isn't in a lot of people's budgets. Damn sure ain't in mine. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. So the next time that we see this mofo, right, he is basically saying that, he's standing at the airport. He got flowers for her and everything. And he's excited. The kids are sitting at the apartment. They're waiting on Julieana to get there and everything. And she's excited. She begins to talk to us and tell us about how poor she is. So, of course, he gets her from the airport. They're hugging and kissing and all that, all of that kind of stuff. Like, I don't care anything about that. They're hugging and they're kissing and they're doing whatever they're going to do. And then, they get in the limo and he has champagne for her. He gives her the little, necklace gift that he had promised her or whatever. Remember he had went to the jeweler and had it made for her and all this kind of stuff. And, and I'm just like, skip all of this. She begins to talk about how poor they were. And I was like, wow, that's really strange that she would use the word were. Now, we know that TLC does editing and splicing and cutting and all of that kind of stuff. And so I was thinking that she was probably giving us the information or saying that we were poor until I was a model. Now, that never came across, but I was thinking she is talking in past tense that we were poor, that we used to collect bottles and recycle and everything just to get meat to eat. And I know that they want us to believe that Julieana is this young girl who's just, feeding off of him. And she very well may be. But guess what? Fair exchange ain't no robbery. She's got to sleep with this raggedy mofo who, in my opinion, is faking like he is rich. And so we see, her, in the limo. And she's wondering whether or not the kids are going to like her. And he's like, I really do believe that they're going to like her, like you. And she's worried about that. So they get to the apartment that's in Greenwich. Now, remember, allegedly, he's supposed to be moving into this huge mansion that we saw, which is around the corner from his wife. And so he is in, they go inside, and when they open up the door, I'm trying to tell you, y'all, I almost died. I almost fainted. I almost fell the hell out. I was traumatized. I was itching. I was scratching. Welts popped up on my whole entire body, and I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, what is happening here? Like, this mofo's house was so filthy, dirty, and nasty. I said, there is absolutely no way that he is a rich man. Number one, kids say the darndest things, okay? If the house was inappropriate or they weren't used to living in the house this way, the kids would have made an apology for it. They would have been like, we moving and we packing and, excuse us, the house don't usually look like this. This mofo had stuff that looked like he had it since he was 16 years old. I mean, boxes that had been sitting there for like eons and eons and cutting freaking eons. And I was like, there's no way in the world he's rich, because you don't even have to be rich to have somebody come in and clean your mofo house up. And he was extremely comfortable with it. And it didn't look like the things, if you were moving and you had a week to move, more things would have been in a box. So she basically would have been coming in with a shell of her apartment. She would have been coming in with she would have been coming in there with things already boxed up and just basically furniture there. But you know what? If the mofo want to pretend and act like he's rich and he's wealthy and he's living that life, you go right on here, boo. But I'm going to tell you right now, you cannot trick a slicker tricker. And I know good and well this mofo's not rich. So we go in and we see that the kids have made her a cake. She hugs the kids and everything. At first, she's a little apprehensive, but he gives her permission to go ahead and wrap her little arms, her little 21-year-old arms, or 21, 22, 23-year-old arms around his 12 and 8-year-old little kids. Okay, as the little boy said, we're closer in age with her than she is with you, Dad. So anyway, they make her this cake and everything, and it's got gummy worms on it, and it has welcome, and all that stuff, and it's just really, really cute. And of course, the little sister and the little brother says, my dad's a lucky man. They think that she's beautiful. The little girl said that goes to prove that she really is a model, because there's no way that she can't be a model, because she's just too beautiful. And you just I have fallen in love with the little kids, even though I got a slight problem with, the way that TLC is doing this. But you know what? We gonna go along with it. So you got these two little blessed little kids. The little sister that sat up there and made breakfast, and the brothers taking credit. They had avocado. They said, avocado, we heard, is, like a dessert for you. So we wanted to make sure you had that. We got eggs for you. We got sausage, and we got some cinnamon buns. And they was like, so we got breakfast. And the dad was like, well, at this point it's brunch. And so, they all sit down and everything. And the little boy starts, grabbing and yanking that food. Grabbing and yanking that food. And so, they was like, okay, well, who cooked, the sausage? And the sister was like, I did. Who cooked this? And she was like, I did that. Well, who did this? And she was like, okay, I did that. And who made the cake? And the little sister was like, I did that. And he was like, well, they was like, okay, well, what did you do? And he was like, I warmed everything up. She was like, oh my God. The little sister was like, oh my God, such a hard job. Oh my God, you did such hard work. You should be commended. Okay. She is witty as she can be. Okay. I like them. I don't believe that this guy's rich. I believe that Julieana is coming over here. She's going to find out some things about this mofo. There's something slightly off with him. I mean, it's almost like, how you go up on the top of a sliding board and you slide down that mofo and you get stuck right in the middle. And then you got to use your feet to drag your ass. You got to use your feet to drag you down the rest of it. Okay? He that kind of mofo. You know what I'm saying? The slime board need a little bit of grease or something. It need to be tilted 2 inches a little high so that it could be, you really can slide down, but like it's something, like it's something off with this mofo. The next couple I want to talk about is Emily and Sasha. Now, I did not review them last week because it was my intention to come out and do a whole entire segment on just the two of them, okay? So last week we saw Emily when she sat down at the restaurant because she wanted to talk to his ex-wife about the little boy possibly coming to America. So she's, unable to speak the language. He can speak the language. And so, he's basically there as an interpreter. It is her desire that after she has her baby, she marries this mofo and they come to the United States. But she wants him to be able, this guy, Sasha, okay, who only has the opportunity to see his kids on the weekend. She wants him to come with her to America and then have the little boy there, okay? So she sits down with the ex-wife, and the ex-wife said that he decided that he was going to leave her because he was with somebody else who was pregnant. And now this mofo, basically is doing the same exact thing with a whole different woman. But she says, with this part of the game, he trying to, step up in his society. And so America is his excuse. This is his third baby, okay? So present tense, we see her, past last episode, we saw her sit there and act like, okay, I'm so sick, I'm not feeling well, and I am going to, get up and leave because, of course, the conversation wasn't going the way that she wanted the conversation to go. So she decided that the best thing for her to do was to roll out. So she rolls out because this is the type of girl who runs away from everything. The ex-wife is like, we don't want you to leave, woo-de-woo-de-woo, but he's going to do what he wants to do. When asked a question on whether or not the little boy could be there, basically the ex-wife said when he is able to make a decision and he decides for himself that he would like to go to America, then he can. But, so now we open up this episode with her in labor, okay? Her water broke in the middle of the night. She's already made a decision that she's going to have the baby in Russia with her husband, okay? And so we see her in the hospital, moaning and crying. Now, for all of you all who are empathetic and sympathetic, you're going to be pissed with me. You going to be mad with me. Okay? And it's okay because because I ain't mad that you mad with me. But I'm going to say some stuff that some of y'all sensitive women and men are not going to like. But daggit, I'm going to say it. I have never seen somebody act like they were going to, like having a baby is not going to the electric chair. Now, yes, it is serious. It's the closest that you could come to death without dying and all that kind of stuff. We understand that labor pain hurts like a mofo. It is a pain that you never forget. But all of that, I knew they was going to take her baby. I knew they were going to take her baby. Here's the thing. Boo. You in Russia. You're afraid. Everything that you have thought about that your sister has said to you is now here smacking you in your face. You are in a Russian facility with people who do not speak your language. The only person that you have there to rely on is Sasha. So I understand that you're afraid. But she's been afraid of everything. She's used everything as an excuse for her to be dramatic and just, So she is in pain and everything. She's crying. TLC took pictures and camera and footage of the hospital and made it look like a psych ward. Like I am sitting up there thinking to myself, red rum, red rum, red rum, red rum, red rum. I'm like, how creepy can they make this hospital look? Like I wanted to put my own self in a straitjacket batch and just walk down the hallway. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm red rumming and I'm just every horror film that I've ever seen just flashed before my eyes when TLC was having, when they were showing the footage of the hospital. I mean, they were coming up on chairs, won't they, y'all? The only thing we didn't see was chains and stuff swinging from the ceiling. But I said, okay, we know how TLC is. They full of drama, but they gave it to us, didn't they, y'all? They gave a psych ward. So, the doctor comes in, they're tired of her screaming, and they say, what, do you want an epidural? So she's like, is it going to slow down the process of, labor? And so they're like, no, it's just going to stop you from screaming. So now they've given her this epidural. She says she's in too much pain for her to even think about translating anything. And so, and of course, she's afraid, all right? Now, granted, she may be afraid, but once you get that epidural, it is, as we saw it on TV, it knocks you out. Because, yes, in the beginning, we all are going natural, all right? Until we get to so many centimeters, we are having a natural childbirth. Until they give you an epidural, you are having a natural childbirth. So it's nothing that most of us, unless we've had scheduled cesareans, haven't gone through, okay? So when they gave her the epidural, I'm saying, okay, you need to calm the hell down now. She still ain't calmed down. The pressure. Let me tell you something. I was knocked out. I felt the pressure, but you don't feel the cramps like that. Like they do surgeries, like serious surgery. Like when she wouldn't had her cesarean, she had an epidural, but she was laying up there calm. So she's up there screaming and everything. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm scared. He's saying, calm down, Emily. Like, get yourself together, boo. You just having a baby. Again, I understand all the circumstances around it, but you ain't the first one ever had a baby. The doctor comes in and let me tell you something. This woman was only in labor 7 hours. How about 2 days? How about 2 days? I'm sure there are plenty of women out here in the comment section who had labor of, how about 2 days? How about I went into the hospital on the 27th, didn't have my baby till the 29th? I went in the hospital 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on the 26th, 8 o'clock p.m. I did not have my baby until the 29th at midnight, boo. 12:37 a.m. on the 29th. And I'm not saying, you got to do what you got to do. When they telling you to push, they need you to push. And if you don't push and they feel like you don't have the capability of pushing, guess what they going to do? They going to cut your tail because they don't have time to be playing with you with that baby down there. Come on now, y'all. In my opinion, and I don't care if y'all get mad. I'm telling you, I don't care. But I'm going to say what Auntie got to say about it because I've been waiting to say it. If you get in the hospital and you get to acting a fool and you risking the baby's heartbeat and all of that because you refuse to push and you refuse to do what the doctors have asked you to do, they're going to cut your A. You were in labor for 7 hours. What a blessing. The doctor came in. You were 10 centimeters in 7 hours. Now, what I need the women down here to do for me, okay? And it's not taken away from the fact that she was in pain, all right? But I need y'all to go down here, all the women who have had children, 1 child, 2 children, whatever. Tell us down in the comment section how many hours you were in labor. How many hours were you ready on your first baby, your first labor and delivery? Did you have your baby 12 hours? Okay, somebody said 3 days. Okay, 26 hours. All right, I think I can see that. 7 hours. Okay, 28 hours. Okay, 2 days. Okay, exactly. If you playing, okay, what's that, 20 hours? You can't play with the baby down there in the birth canal like that and think that they not going to cut you. So they told her the head is not positioned correctly. Guess what they could do? They could take that baby and swoosh that baby head around, because if the baby is already down there, then they can move it. But you know what? When you up there screaming and I'm scared and I don't want to punch, I can't do this. I can't do this. You're getting cut. You are getting cut. They're going to do a cesarean on you. That's an increased hospital bill, an increased stay into the hospital, more downtime for you in order to heal. Now, I'm not saying that every woman, has a vaginal birth. That is not what I'm saying. Don't put that on your auntie. What I'm saying is, I believe she didn't have a vaginal birth because they didn't have time to deal with her. He said that the last time, he said it is not usual for men in Russia to be in the labor and delivery room with their significant other, in his case, or wives or whatever. He said the last time when his son was born, he think he was at work. He don't even know where he was. But he's in this hospital room with her, okay? Because he has to interpret for her, all right? Now, he's in there and he's trying to communicate what the doctors are saying, but he's on edge because this is the first time he's ever seen this. Although he has two other children, two other boys, this is the first time he's ever seen it. So, he's on edge. We could see that he was just about to pass out at any given moment. And so, this is new for him. Just a lot of stuff going on. She said that she did not regret the fact that she decided that she wanted him by her side. She decided to have the baby in Russia. They rushed her in because they said, of course, the baby's head wasn't on the hip right. And I'm thinking, why is the baby on the hip? But it's past the hip. If she's dilated 10 centimeters, see, that's the thing. If she's dilated 10 centimeters, the baby ain't on the hip no more. The head ain't on the hip. I'm just saying. So they took her crying, whiny tail up in there and gave her a cesarean. And they had a beautiful little baby boy. Congratulations to them. But I'm telling you right now, that woman makes excuses. She's over dramatic. She doesn't have any type of coping skills, in Auntie's opinion. This is my opinion. This is my review. So a good luck to these mofos. We're going to, Lord Jesus. All right, so the next couple, what couple do I want to talk about next? Robert, could it be Robert and Annie? Robert is a whole cheap-ass mess, okay? We see Robert getting up in the morning, that great getting up morning. He done had the time of his life, okay? He said he was drinking. I've been drinking. Surfboard, okay? He and Annie have been drinking and doing their thing with the whoop whoop and the boop boop boop. And they said when little shorty Bebop went to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning, when little bad shorty went to bed about 4 o'clock in the morning, they got busy on the sofa, okay? Because y'all know good and well that little mofo was probably off the walls with his feet and his butt all up in the air acting a plump. So we see him up in the morning, he all up in the girl's suitcase, grabbing stuff, trying to play with the zippers, whatever. They sitting in the other room. And I'm saying, when you know that you got a child at that cotton freaking, when you have a child at that level, he needs to be around you and in your eyesight at all times. Like if you cooking, you need to be cooking like this. If you're washing up, you need to be washing up with the shower curtain open. Like, this mofo needs to be in my sight at all times until I can get him down and off them walls. Do you understand? So they sit in, they talking, he's talking about, the wonderful night that he had. And of course, she had a wonderful night with him and everything. And so, it's little shorty bebop turned, time to go to school. And he looked adorable. He looked, he was adorable. So he runs up, bye Annie. He hugs it because he's sweet in the inside. You know what I'm saying? He like one of them Sour Patch, one of them Sour Patch bites or them little Sour Patch Kid little things, sweet and sour at the same time. So the little mofo, so they decided to, they're going to go shopping. She said she needed some clothes because she took her clothes and she gave her sisters her clothes because she was like, I'm going to America. I don't need these anymore. These are little rags and everything now because I'm getting ready to get Versace and she said Versace. I'm getting ready to get Versace and Chanel and I'm going to be walking around with Ralph Lauren and Les Claiborne and I'm just going to have the best Moschino. I'm just going to have the best. So I'm going to leave all of these little Dominican clothes here with my sisters, and I'm going to call it helping my dad out. But I'm going to leave this stuff because I'm going to America. I'm going to America, okay, to be with this mofo. So I don't need this stuff no more because he done already promised me a rose garden and a couple of outfits. So they get in the car and everything, he all happy, and he like, I'm going to take you shopping. She was like, all right, then. When they pulled up in front of that mofo, every woman on this Cotton Freaking Live tonight knew that she was at a secondhand shop. I don't know what. She didn't know she wasn't at the mall, okay? But I'm going to go ahead on and give it to her just purely ignorance, all right? They drive up to a secondhand shop. This mofo got her walking through this mofo looking at stuff that these people done brought. So they get this girl to come over there with the raggediest, just pus-filled nose that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm saying, why they didn't have another salesperson that was on duty that day? Why did they pick this girl with all of this stuff around her nose looking like, Y'all know she looked like an episode of Martin. Y'all remember how Martin used to come up on his knees and knock on Gina and Pam's door? And I think his name was his name Roscoe? And he used to have the snottiest nose. Martin used to have his nose. Didn't that girl look like that? Some, yeah, we buy from customers every day. Boo, whatever you buying and touching, I don't want it. It wouldn't even, for me, wouldn't even been an issue because y'all know I love a thrift, okay? But boo, when you came up there and your nose looking like sourpuss like that and you got all kinds of infections and jaundice and gingivitis and all kinds of just, I can't do, I can't touch nothing up in here. Y'all need to call the police so they can swing a SWAT group in here, knock this mofo door down because if she touched this door today, I don't even want to touch the door. Lord forgive me, but I'm dead serious about it. Get SWAT to knock this door down. Somebody come get this door. Because I don't want to be right there. How you doing? So, do you like anything? We got all kinds of customers. All kinds of customers that, that we that we sell the girl, if you don't get your girl, if you don't get your snotty ass away from I see, I can't, I'm done. The rest of the day, I'm done. She was like, oh, I'm sorry you don't like nothing in here, but won't won't you come back? like I was on the moon. Like she took me straight to the moon. So, of course, she don't like the clothes. She's like, why would you give me secondhand clothes? He's picking up stuff, talking about stuff is cute. She's like, that's not cute. I don't like that. I'm thinking that I'm coming to America and I'm getting Versace and sausages and all I'm getting is some chick with a snotty nose. So she leaves out of the store. She gets mad. He comes out there and he tells her how disrespectful she is and how she's not satisfied with anything. And that technically he did take her shopping to get clothes. And I'm saying to myself, come on now, Robert. You broke, boo. You don't have any money. And you deflecting and you're turning this around and trying to make it seem like this girl is money hungry. You did the same thing to her that George did to Anfisa. You gave her all these pipe dreams and told her about the land of milk and honey and the land where you could go and get all these things. You promised her all this stuff because you wanted to bring somebody else over here, okay? But at the end of the day, Robert, she's not. I don't believe she's a gold digger. I believe that she wants what you promised her. If you tell a mofo that you're gonna take them shopping, you don't take them shopping at a thrift store or a secondhand store. And she was like, I didn't dress like that in Dominican Republic. I dressed in nice clothes. Now I don't think she did that, but but I understand what she's saying. She basically was saying I didn't shop secondhand when I was there. I would shop secondhand. I have a suede coat that comes all the way down to my ankles, boo, that I got. I ain't even gonna get into it, but I got some bad stuff from the thrift store, but it's not for everybody. And you have to get to a level of confidence when you can wear that stuff and take it to the dry cleaners and all of that kind of stuff and work it and get it tapered and cut up and all of that kind of stuff. Now, certain things I'm not going to buy from them. But when I'm looking for like a nice coat or something like that, I'm going up in that mofo. If I'm looking for, some candelabras or, whatever, I'm going up in it. Ain't no shame in my game, but I understood where she was coming from. And so, he wants to say that she's being ungrateful, that he's not made out of money. So we see them the next time, she's changed her clothes. They got a babysitter. They actually got somebody to babysit that little boy. Who doing that? Freddy Krueger? Who babysitting here? Okay. He at somebody's house. Little shorty at somebody's house. Girl, I'm trying to tell you, the streets ain't safe. But anyway, so they going out and he says, he tells her that she hurt his feelings. And she was like, why? And he was like, because technically I did take you shopping. You seem like, what I'm doing isn't good enough for you. And so they sit in a restaurant and they start to, it's a seafood restaurant. And so she begins to look at the menu. And she was like, this has a lot of seafood on it. This is something that I would like for the wedding. And he was like, you talking about like this? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, I ain't spending my money like this. Them mofos ain't eating up off of my money like that. You know what I'm saying? What we're going to do is we're going to do a ceremony in bowling. But you mad at her because she wants more for herself. He asked her, she said, we should have these kind of things on our wedding, in our wedding. And he's like, I ain't made out of money. We could do a buffet, a ceremony, and bowling. Then he goes in to say, do you want a marriage, a wedding, or a ceremony? She's like, I want the whole thing. He said, because a wedding is when you go all out. And a ceremony is just, going to the justice of the peace. Then he says that she was acting like she was all that. She is all that, and she deserves exactly what you promised her. How in the world are you going to sit there and act like this girl is money hungry? You broke. You don't have any money. He sits there when you taking somebody shopping and you treat her like a little kid. I gotta pay for the rent. I gotta pay for the electric, gas. I gotta pay for the car note. I gotta pay for the air that we breathe, the water we drink. I gotta pay for the toilet paper that wipe your butt. I gotta buy. You knew you was gonna have to do this. You know that the girl don't work. Don't make it come off as this girl, these are red flags. You the red flag, mofo. You the red flag. She ain't did nothing wrong. You the one that promised her a rose garden. You said that you was going to buy this for. You said you was going to do all that. She sat down at the restaurant. The food came. You know, she got some mahi in front of her and everything. She didn't even want to stop because she gonna say, I want to have the ceremony. I want a wedding and I want the ceremony at the beach. He said, well, what beach you wanted at? She said, Miami. He said, I mean, what you think, I'm rich? No, but I want my ceremony there. Then he asked her another question. She said she wants it to be in Miami. What the f is wrong with you in Miami? What are you talking about, dude? You just asked me as if I had a choice. And so I went for the gusto. I wanted it in Miami. What do you think mean? He like, you can go and live in Miami by yourself. You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Long to the short of it, so this video ain't 75 minutes long. This mofo takes her back to the house. Remember that lingerie that he purchased for her? He gives that to her, and then she puts it on, and he gets him a little bit more. Let me tell you something. This mofo wouldn't have got nothing. Nothing. I'm so thankful for my independence. I really am, because I can make a decision to stay or flee. When you have your own independence, your own money, your own bankroll, when you can make your bacon, fry your bacon, store your bacon, eat your bacon, when you can do all of that, let me tell you, as a woman, it is so powerful. And I'm sure it is for a man, but for a woman, there's nothing more like being independent and doing it on your own without your hands stuck out, without somebody belittling you and making you feel as if you are an object to them. I'm no object to anybody. I take care of my own stuff. And when you can take care of your own stuff, you have an opportunity to flee a situation as soon as it doesn't work out for you. The next couple that I want to talk about is the cotton freaking Tania or Tania and Syngin. Tania is in New York digging up in her boyfriend's underarms, playing with her boyfriend with Syngin's underarm hair. This girl, they'll see me pecking them. She's laying up in the bed. It's the next day. They're still in New York. This is the last day that the friends are going to be in New York. And they wake up together, and she's playing in his underarms. She plays with the hair. Now, you know your hair is too long as a man when I can play in it and braid it, corn roll it, press it, put a relaxer in it, boo, bump it with a flat iron. Like who loves stuff like that? Tanya. So Tanya is, he's wanting to have time with her by himself, but she's like, my girls is here. So he's like, okay, so we got a whole different day with the girls. And she's like, yeah, this is their last day here. So she sits there and she tells us that in front of him, that her girlfriends come first. Her girlfriends have been around for 14 years, and she believes that they're going to be together with them, that they're going to be around 14 years after them. And I'm saying to myself, why are you already talking about after? Why are you already talking as if you all are going to split up? This just goes to show that this girl is doing some things that I'm a little bit suspicious of. But later on in the season, I'll talk about that. But so she, he's there. He's very happy he's in America. They're walking back and forth. They stop off at a sushi shop and they begin to sit and have a conversation in the sushi shop. And so, of course, the girlfriends are giving him the third degree, because they're fascinated with this mofo who has come here, from Africa. And so, she's sitting there with her friends. She's making all kinds of comments. Thank you so much, y'all, for those super chats. I'm sorry, I have no glasses on. I don't even know where they are in the house. Okay. So thank you all so much. I've seen a couple of super chats, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I am so sorry. I didn't remember to bring my glasses upstairs in my glam room, so I apologize. So anyway, she's having a conversation, and so they ask him, what do you want to do? How are you going to make income? And so this mofo says that first of all, he's going to be a ballerina. And then after he's a ballerina, he's going to, he's going to play for the NFL. And then after the NFL, he thinks that he wants to be a fireman. And then after he's a fireman, he thinks that he just wants to be a bartender. And then after a bartender, he thinks that he just wants to sell ice cream on the side of the corner in New York City. And then after that, he thinks he wants to try out for the circus. And then after he tries out for the circus, he really thinks that he really wants to do construction. And then after he does construction, he thinks that he wants to do real estate. Like, this mofo is going down a list. He's sounding like a little kid. And so they're saying, when you have to get something, you have to narrow it down. And he's like, I don't have to narrow anything down. I'm not going to let any opportunity pass me by. So when I see the guys coming by and cleaning the street with the sweepers, I am going to be a sweeper too. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to build model cars. And then after I do that, I think I'm going to work on Wall Street. And, like, this mofo is like, I'm in America. Anything is possible. You can do anything that you want to be and do. And so this mofo was like, I'm going to be and do it all. I'm doing it all. And you can't stop me. So we like, okay, all right, go. And so, of course, the friends, she begins to talk about, her wanting to have children. And, he is not ready for that. He says that if he decided to have children with her, that he would have children 7 years from now. And so, of course, the girlfriends, they signify, they all up in the business and everything. And they're like, it's more important for them to settle on, whether or not they're going to have children. Thank you so much for the super chat. These are all crazy mofos. Let me try to read it. Thank you, Mistress G, for the $2 super chat. These are all crazy mofos. Love you, Auntie. So, love you too. So these mofos is, basically her girlfriends need to go on about their business. She needs to handle this relationship with him. But as we can see, she's extremely bossy and controlling. She wants to control how this mofo think, how he breathes and everything. And he is slowly but surely catching on to her. So in the evening time, she decides that she wants to take him. She's giving him this New York experience. And so she says, we're going to have steaks. How New York is that? I didn't know. But I mean, I guess. Okay. I don't really eat red meat like that. So I don't know. So forgive me for not knowing. So anyway, she's sitting there at dinner with him. And she starts to, go down this line of questioning again about having a child. She said that, her and her mom were really close with one another, that, her mom had her young. And she thought that was just the grooviest thing, that her mom did. And so, she had decided that at age 30, she was going to try to have a baby, whether or not it be through a donor or whatever. But then she met him, and so she decided that, she would hook up with him. And so she's put her baby plans on, she's delayed it. And so at first she was talking about 2 years. He was saying that this is not something that he wanted to do in, 3 years. And so, she's like, well, I put everything on hold for you. I will go on and I will have a baby with or without you. If you don't want to give me a baby, I'm going to have a baby anyway. And so he says to her, well, how can, you have a career and all the things that you said that you wanted to have and be toting a baby on your hip? And so, of course, now she gets offended because she's saying to him, how dare you ask me that? People don't say that kind of stuff to men, but they say that to women. And a lot of the reasons why people say that to women, even though it could be wrong, right, wrong, or indifferent, the reason why people think like that, because most of the time it is the woman who is taking care of the child and mothering the child and nurturing the child. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that there are not fathers out there that are doing that. But I'm just saying, that historically has not been in our culture the man's job to do that. We are becoming more liberated, and a lot of the men are staying home and they're being Mr. Mom. One of the people that I think successfully does it is Todd, Candy's husband, with his little boy Ace. He is Mr. Mom, and I love to see the relationship. Candy is out there living that life, okay, and making them Benjamins and bringing that paper in. That's not to say that Todd isn't, but she has to realize that her husband is from South Africa, and so maybe their traditions and the way that they handle the home is different. And so, of course, she, hasn't taken that into consideration, and she wants to, act a little butthole. Anyway, and so, he sits there and he tells her that, you're not going to, I'm not going to feel forced to have a baby. If I decide that I'm going to have one in a couple of years, this is something we need to talk about. And I'm not going to feel forced. He said, it's like, you have already written the story and I'm just a character in your storyline. And I absolutely agree with him. I think that she's wrong for doing the things that she's doing. Um, let me see if I could try. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. So, thank you, Kathleen, Kathleen, for the $10 super chat. Any other monumental life decisions you want to impose on him? Absolutely. And I think that she's wrong for doing what she's doing, but I have a theory. I'm not going to release that theory. I think I probably will release that theory maybe episode 6 about this young lady. But last but not least, y'all, we're going to have to talk about I think her name is Annie too, and Mursel. First of all, TLC, when you start splicing and dicing and cutting stuff, make sure that the mofos take their wedding rings off. We have already saw in this episode that the two of them are already married. So why are we going back and talking about old stuff? Number one, his hair is different. The color of his hair is different. The season has absolutely changed. And both of these mofos are sitting up there with wedding rings on their hands. And they're talking about a conversation that happened with Mama when his hair and everything was different. He didn't have on a wedding band. Both of them are sitting up there with wedding bands on. So they're already married. She has already made the decision to stay with this mofo. She has already made the decision to put this mofo before her sons. I thought that this was one of the saddest things that I have seen in a long time on TLC. That this woman would bring a man here from Turkey who will deny her children. Deny the very existence of her children. And her son doesn't even believe that she won't abandon them. What a sad storyline. I would be ashamed to even remotely speak those things out of my mouth. Last week, we saw that the son sat at the table when the mother began to question him about his family and about the children. The son, the 15-year-old son, sat there and heard him when he said that he is not going to disclose and has not disclosed the fact that she has children to his parents. And that if he had found, if they did find out, that he would leave. And that he wanted her to leave her children and fly to Turkey to be with him because he loves all things Turkey. All things. And so now she's sitting here faking as if she has not already made a decision, has a wedding band, two wedding bands on, one with one with the stud and one with the band, and he has on one. And she's going back and forth and pretending in front of all of us and saying, how did you feel about the conversation with my mother? It's a whole different season outside. You don't care about how he feels about the children. And so he says, basically my family's going to disown me. It's not the hot thing to do in Turkey. He says, you cried. She says, yeah, I cried. She cried because she knew that she had already made a decision. They're already married. And her kids are on the back burner. Now, don't get it twisted. I do believe that every woman and man should have an opportunity to live their lives. And that at some point we have to cut our children off. But her children are still minors. So this is not the time to cut them back. And I know it may seem sexist. And it may seem like I'm being unfair because men walk away from children every day. We have deadbeat daddies that just walk, they've never been in the children's lives. And I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that she's a custodial parent. She is the one who stepped in. She is the one who didn't walk away. She's the custodial parent. And so to see her make these decisions about this man and put this man, this beekeeper man, that she has to talk to on a translator app, who can't even relate on her, who has a 25 minutes pause section before he can even say anything. Like this mofo is sitting in complete silence with a dumb look on his face for hours before he answers a question. You got to ask him, are you still there? Like everything for him is going into a black hole until he can get a translator app. She sits down with her son because her son said, I want to confront this issue. Now, I don't know, the son is asking about why he has not. Now, the son did not say, when you all get married or anything. They were very careful not to say that. Because I'm sure that they knew the 90-Day Fiance fans that we all already saw those wedding rings. We saw them. But the son said, I want to get this straight because he said this and I was there and I want my brother to hear it. And so they began to ask him questions about what would happen. And he said that he would be living in exile. He said that he would tell his parents about her having children on their deathbed because on their deathbed, it's too late for them to fuss about it. And they'll just go ahead and forgive them because they think that they're going to be living in a land of milk and honey along with somebody's God somewhere. And the oldest son said if he's going to be living that way, that's on him. When he had a private conversation with her earlier, he told her that it was his destiny. It was his destiny not to tell. She said, well, that's not my destiny. That is your destiny. Because you're all the way married. You're not halfway married. You're married. And I don't understand the desperation of these people. Like, I can't even wrap my mind around the sheer desperation of these women and men to make these decisions for their children. And to not think that this is going to affect them. Let me tell you, in each and every one of us is a little girl and a little boy. All of our experiences, all the things that we've been through, our hurts, our disappointments, they are still nestled in the inside of us. We challenge ourselves every day not to live in the shoes of that little girl and that little boy that's in us, and we try to walk that maturity out. How do you think that this is making her sons feel? Even the little boy said, "You don't care about anybody but my mama." When she said that she was not going to go to Turkey, the son said, "I don't believe you." So there's a history there. There's something that has happened there that has caused these children not to trust their mother. And I believe it's because she married him. And I believe that she married him without the boys' permission, without them, and she doesn't need their permission. So don't come in my, oh God, don't come in my, in my comment. She doesn't need their permission, but you at least want to get their buy-in, especially as a grown adults. When we have, my daughter is older, she's mature, but if I decide that I'm going to marry somebody, I want her buy-in. And it may be somebody that she doesn't like or she doesn't know. We got to work all of that out. But if I don't get her initial buy-in, I just keep on, doing what I'm doing until she's comfortable with that. And if she never gets comfortable with it, and she's 35 and I'm 85, I'm going to marry him. No, but y'all know what I mean. You want to get the buy-in. And this is, to me, is one of the saddest stories. Because she sits there and she lets everybody else do the work. She lets the boys do the work. And she lets Turkey B man, do the work. But when are you going to speak up? She says, I feel like I'm going to be forced to make a decision, and I'm not going to choose Mursel. You already did. You already chose him. And so the boys are saying, you went on and married a mom. Wonder if you're going to leave with them. I can't. I can't with her. I thought that I was going to like her, but to see her boys hurting, especially the little boy who was so welcoming to him, it bothered me a lot. But anyway, y'all, that is the end of my review on 90 Day Fiance, Season 7, Episode 3, What Am I Worth to You? What am I worth to you? Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to everybody who super chatted tonight. Thank you to Mary and to Josie, the best cotton freaking moderators on the YT. And to you all, my nieces and nephews, who are the best family on YouTube. I love you all so much, and hopefully I will see you all tomorrow as we talk more 90 Day Fiance. Love y'all.